Welcome back, GRTV Christmas Calendar once more in your face, on your video player, on your site, possibly your mobile or tablet. But it is day 7 and it is also a Friday, and as usual with a Friday, we've got Emily with the news. No? You're not saying anything?
No.
Okay. Emily, take it away.
Thanks, guys. The first news story today is that longtime Epic president Michael Capps has announced his retirement on the Epic website, while staying on in an advisory role on the board of directors. The split appears to be a friendly one, as was the case with other high-profile departures from Epic as of late, including Cliff Bleszinski and Rod Ferguson. Austin Wintory received a Best Score soundtrack for Visual Media Grammy nomination for his Journey score last night as the Grammy nominations were officially announced. This is only the second time a game has been nominated for a Grammy, and the first time for a full soundtrack. Developers Petroglyph have stayed mute since the open beta for End of Nations was indefinitely postponed and pre-orders refunded. It appears the studio is now letting around 30 of its staff go, while gamers are still left in the dark in regards to the future of End of Nations. Capcom have revealed fresh DLC for Resident Evil 6 that is set to hit XBLA exclusively on December 19. 3 new multiplayer modes, Onslaught, Survivors and Predator, is what's on offer, and you can buy them separately at 320 points or as a bundle for 720 points. This week saw the release of the most recent Skyrim expansion, Dragonborn, on Xbox 360. And finally, there's some good news for owners of Skyrim on PS3, as Bethesda have confirmed that Dragonborn will hit PlayStation 3 early next year. No word on whether PS3 owners will also get their hands on previous DLC packs, Hearthfire and Dawnguard, at some point, but at least now there's a glimmer of hope. Microsoft were hoping to renew the trademark for Rare's old fighting game, Killer Instinct, but it turns out the Killer Instinct trademark now belongs to a cancelled Fox TV show from 2005. Whether this is enough to stop a potential reboot, remake or re-release of the game remains to be seen.
That was today's news, and we're moving on to our usual treat of the Indie Darlings and the competition.
But before we do, we should actually have a bit of background on how we actually shot Indie Darlings. Benk, you've actually done most of them. Can you give us a little bit of story behind that?
Well, I mean, basically we do a lot of interviews all around the place, different developers, different events, different things, and well, as we were moving closer and closer to Christmas, we thought we'd ask one question, like ask each developer, like for a Indie Darling or a game that they felt was underappreciated or whatever. And you know, it was interesting because a lot of developers had a hard time thinking what was that game called, or they had to look it up on their iPads, or they had to go look somewhere but others, they had like 10 games ready to go. They could just rattle them off. Yeah. So it's a very different, and I think every developer that we talked to about this was very happy to do it and very sort of keen to do it, because I think even if you're working for big corp, you know, you want to give a shout out to the little guy and to a game that you really enjoyed, even though it may not be perfect or it's very sort of niche or something like that. But it's still something that I think every developer sort of, you know, was more than happy to do. So
very passionate about it. Like I said.
Definitely. So we angered some PRs by you know, extending our interviews with this question, but
that's what we're here for.
All the devs were happy about it.
Cool, excellent. Well, without further ado, today's Indie Darling, and Emily also with today's competition, and come back tomorrow for more GRTV Christmas Calendar goodness.
So there's a lot of games that are out there that I think are pretty underappreciated, but one of the ones that I've played in the last few years that really kind of blew me away was a game called Stronghold II. It's this castle building sim, but when you take it online and you're playing with somebody, it gets really crazy. You can have an immense army. You can have catapults, trebuchets, flaming carts. I mean, I've had matches in Stronghold 2 that, you know, lasted 4 hours, and they were crazy. They're a lot of fun, and I think people would really dig it if they checked it out. So I thought Stronghold 2 was a pretty cool game that a lot of people didn't know about.
Which weapon is best for war? Is it the lightest? The sharpest? The most perfectly balanced?
Hi and welcome back. You just watched the trailer for War of the Roses, and today's question is, what is the name of the houses or teams in War of the Roses? As always, write us an email at xmas@gamereactor.eu with the answer in the subject line for a chance to win War of the Roses on Steam. Make sure we get your email before 12 noon tomorrow, Central European Time.